All right, good evening, everyone. We are going to be going over macros and hourly open in this video. It should be a quick video. Macros and hourly open isn't too, it's not too complicated. This is pretty much what it does. Macro is an influx. Sorry, I have myself. I just got out the shower. Macro is an influx of volatility. Why? Because it's the last 10 minutes and the first 10 minutes of the next hourly open, or sometimes the 4-hour open. And typically we want to leave a wick, and the wick is manipulation, and manipulation can be pretty fast. And I'm not saying that macro is always manipulation, but the last 10 minutes of the hour is very important when it comes to the higher time frame. So that's why we have an influx of volatility. Now, what can macro do? Macro can do a few things. Macro can manipulate, and if macro manipulates, you can expect hourly open to distribute. All right, that's one thing you could do. Another thing is macro can deliver to journal liquidity, influx of volatility, obviously, and macro can chop as well. Everything is probability. Now, is macro going to chop more often than the other times? No. It's not too often that macro is chopping all the time, because macro is typically when we like to deliver the fastest. But whenever macro chops, you can expect hourly open to manipulate, and next 15-minute open to distribute. Now, this is all the overall rules of macro. However, it's not going to happen every time. There's not going to be a single concept out there that's going to perfectly follow the rules that have been seen in a pattern repeatedly for months, years, decades, right? Sometimes macro is going to chop and the next hourly open not manipulate. Sometimes the next hourly open could chop as well, and then the next 15-minute might manipulate, and then the next might distribute. So you have to have discretion. You have to be able to be open-minded. To have discretion, be open-minded, and be aware of price action, because the price action we're going over today in these examples are going to be the price action of the last 2 weeks of December, in which you know that typically December's price action can be a little bit less probable and certain things don't happen as much. But this is typically what you're going to see. With that being said, we're going to go straight into it, and we're going to show some examples of hopefully all of these. But this right here, as you see, hourly open and manipulate, next 15 minute distribute. We'll be going a little bit more in that in our Power 3 video. Our Power 3 video is going to be a little bit more complicated, a little bit more intricate. It's going to be very educational, because Power 3 is one of those important concepts that you need to be able to understand and know in the back of your hand, back of your mind, second nature, in order to trade comfortably in the price action. So that being said, let's get straight into it. So I have all the macros marked out here. I have the beginning of macro marked out in blue and the end of it marked out in purple. We're going to be going over what happens in each and every single one of them and the time of the session that we have it at. So here we are. I have our New York AM, our first macro going to AM, right, at 9:50. So as you can see, we had chop. Here is the 9 o'clock open right here, opening price. Opening price. And then we're going to have this line as orange. All right, here's the 9 o'clock opening price right here, right? And so anything below the 9 o'clock opening price is the wick right here if we were to head higher, right? So given that we are chopping beforehand, we get this macro open. What do? We jump out from below 9 a.m. opening price, and we leave this wick, letting you know that now we want to head higher. And that's what we do. Now, keep in mind, this is December price action. Therefore, delivery might not be as probable, might not be as nice. I would like to say that this zone right here was unprobable in December price action. I think that this was unnecessary for the run up to this high. That's December price action for you. This low, for us to not even take out this low, meaning this is the manipulation lower to come back higher, even though we manipulated here already, right? I think that's unnecessary. Now, that's just December, but typically during AM or macro, you'd expect up until 1010 for us to run to this buy side. But that's okay. I do want to go over December price action so you guys know how things are going to be. Obviously, this is towards the end of December, but you guys need to understand that even during good price action, right, there's going to be a lot of bad price action throughout the year regardless. So December is the best time to be learning, because regardless if you know macro or not, if we're in good price action, they're probably going to be winning, and you're not going to be in good price action all the time. You need to be profitable during bad price action, so that you have your 6 covered. So let's look at the next macro. Over here, what do you notice? That we chopped, right? Like I said, macro can chop. Now, am I expecting the next, I want this hourly open to, maybe manipulate lower, send us higher, or manipulate higher, send us lower. But as you can see, the 11 o'clock open didn't really do much. Came up, didn't really do much, right? Now, on a lower time frame, if you zoomed in like this, you could say, okay, well, 11 o'clock we opened, we came higher, and that should be your indication that we should go lower. Because like I said, if the macro is chopping, you can expect the next hourly open to manipulate. And as you can see, manipulate it higher, putting the swing high right here. Here, let me get rid of this. Putting the swing high right here. This 11, this is our hourly swing high. This is our hourly open right here. So we can have it marked out. There's 11. We'll have this. So orange again. It's your 11 call open. Open high after macro chopped, and we ultimately come next macro deliver it lower. All right, so you need to keep that in mind whenever you're reading price. You notice that, wow, this 11 o'clock opened without a manipulation lower. We didn't manipulate lower. What did we manipulate? Nothing, right? Came up, took out this buy side, right at the 11 o'clock open after macro chopped, and we started delivering lower. Now, like I said, just from a price action, delivery is not too nice. So I actually came back again during next macro, and then that's when we distributed. So you notice how the next macro, right, distributed. Macro is typically going to get you out the chop, even though sometimes it doesn't, other times it will. So there you go right there. And then we look at the next macro. Relatively the same thing. We're already delivering higher right here. Delivering higher up. And we ultimately just kind of get chopped. We didn't really get much here. Right? Now this is during lunch. So during lunch, you shouldn't really be expecting much of anything. You feel me? So you should really just be waiting for the PM session open. And what do? Come PM session. Here's 11:30 opening price. 1:30 opening price. We'll go over it more on our Power 3 video. We opened up higher, and then we distributed. We opened up higher, so we manipulated higher, and then we distributed come macro. Same thing. Macro, we open up lower, manipulate, and then next hourly open, what do we do? Just right here. Here's the next hourly open, we distribute, as you can see. So, like I said, these are typically the rules. Macro is an influx of volatility. Macro manipulates, hourly open to distribute. Macro manipulates, hourly open distributes. Macro can deliver to drawn liquidity. As you can see, 11 o'clock, open, right, manipulate, and then macro delivered to drawn liquidity, all the way down here. And macro and chop, expect hourly open to manipulate, next 15-minute open to distribute. Now, we didn't exactly get that, unfortunately, but we chopped, hourly open, we did manipulate higher. In the next 15-minute, I kind of expected distribution lower, in which we did. But as you can see, bad price action, we started to come back higher. And then the next macro had to clean up the mess. So that's our macro video. That's our hourly open video. Pretty short, pretty clean. Definitely really good information to know. And yeah, that's how you're able to use your macros to understand, price a little bit better. So we're gonna end things off there. Our next video is definitely gonna be going over Power 3, so you can understand how that works. If you haven't already, I want you to watch, the basics of everything first, because all of these concepts are completely useless if you don't even know what a fair value gap is. So hope you guys enjoyed.